Welcome to CBRD in York, Pennsylvania. They're obviously well known for tuning Evos, but the owner Chad has started to play around with this piece of German steel. This is Chad. You guys will remember him from Pete's visit here when he came and got his Evo. You've obviously played around with Porsches a little bit before since you've got that 930 up front, or do we call that out back?
Yeah.
And you picked up this one recently.
Yeah, so this car we picked up about 12 months ago. It was it's the new 2017 Porsche Carrera, which is now turbocharged as a base model, where they used to be a normally aspirated, horizontally post 6. So obviously in this industry, we were pretty excited about everything going turbocharged, along with the box turn came in. So we've had it about 12 months now.
Okay. Yeah, I find it confusing that the Carrera is now a turbo 911 because it was always just a turbo 911, and now the non-turbo is a turbo. It's a lot of turbos going on, but from a tuning perspective, obviously it's an attractive platform, and you've made it even more attractive with these rather sexy Advan GT wheels.
Yeah, we were pretty excited about those. We've got a lot of support out of the Mackin and Ray's wheel guys over the years, and I mean, a lot of guys don't realize that some of the best quality wheels, in motorsport even, people think about BBS and so forth, they're the only companies, but a lot of the awesome forged wheels come from Japan. So we have a great relationship with Advan Yokohama, and this was kind of nice because we were able to put together a kind of a co-branded
tire package. Running Advan tires as well. Which one are they? The
These are new Advan Sports. Yeah, so this is actually a factory delivered tire on the new Boxster and Cayman S's, which was kind of cool. So it tied in a little bit. Really a nice application. I mean, it's a pretty impressive tire, but overall we wanted something that looked subtle and still OE without being too obnoxious. And then we did our signature blue brakes and little accents on the car.
Yeah, I love the graphics that you did. Chad actually has a background in graphic design, which I just learned today, so it's kind of cool to see, and it makes a lot of sense when you look around the shop. It's so beautifully done, and the design is so simple and clean, but works beautifully on the car.
Yeah, we like the kind of corporate look, but also to give it just kind of our personal twist, so blue has always been our accent color.
Yeah. So what have you played with on this car? Before we go put it on the dyno, maybe tell us what you've done with it.
Not too much. I mean, we've been kind of limited into something we were discussing earlier. The ECU in this car is pretty sophisticated, so that's kind of kept us out of that department. We rely on our friends at Cobb Tuning to handle a lot of the calibration stuff for us. So still waiting on that. We leased the car. We have it about another year, so we've been patiently waiting and chewing at our fingernails, wanting to just see what the car can do. Beyond that, suspension-wise, the only thing really available when we got the car was H&R springs. So having a good relationship with those guys in the past, we went with a set of those just to kind of change the look of the car. It's not exactly what we would choose, if we were doing full track duty with it, but it actually complemented the ride height with the wheel package real well. So, and there's no rubbing or anything. This was a specific, offset package that we came up with the guys at Mac. And so that's done as far as aesthetics. And then as far as performance, we've done some of our own exhaust work. We really didn't care for the factory Porsche bolt-on tips. So we have some of our own titanium tips that just slide right on. That are etched, and then we have our own tubular manifolds on the car right now.
Beautiful.
So it's kind of neat because the car has the factory sport exhaust, which is valved. So you get about 3 different modes with that are tied into a button on the steering wheel.
And are the headers that you build, is that a one-off piece, or is that something you're going to make available on your website?
It's something we're going to make available. We really wanted to be able to kind of evaluate the stuff in conjunction with ECU calibration. The fact that we can't do that, kind of put it on back burner, that and among the other things we have going on at the shop. So the headers were pretty impressive. I mean, they were probably the most impressive bolt-on hot pipe, hot part that we ever made for any vehicle. I mean, they picked up about 30 wheel horsepower, which on our dyno is pretty heavy.
Yeah, that's solid.
But,
well, speaking of the dyno, maybe we should strap this thing onto the rollers and see how she does. Make some noise.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. what the 3-liter flat 6 turbo looks like on the dyno, and the baseline is what, around 330-ish?
Well, 330 torque, yeah. So the car's stock with the factory sport exhaust. So there's the standard exhaust and the sport, which we actually dynoed those both. The power's identical, so
Okay.
that what you're really getting from it is sound. So, but the power is about 355 to 356 stock at the wheels, and the torque was in the 330s.
All right,
so.
torque, sorry, yeah.
Yep.
And you've picked up a bunch of torque and
Yeah,
horsepower.
on
with
average, we
your header.
have about 18 to 20 peak horsepower and about 15 to 16 on torque, and that's literally just bolting them on. So that was very impressive to us, and you can see there are gains throughout the power band. It's not just to pick up
Yeah.
up top, but the car, because of its boost system, is making pretty much a flat torque curve from 2,000 RPM up. So, and again, misconception-wise, guys, tend to think this is the big twin turbo. It's not. So. Those cars make on this dyno high 400 stock and similar torque, but
Still, this is a
much
ton
more
of
than
power.
and much more than an older NA 3.6 or 3.8.
Yeah.
Those cars are in the 200s, maybe 310 on power. So
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, and just your area under the curve compared to those NA motors is massive.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, this is the whole thing right here, is just having that flat torque curve. 330 torque from pretty much when you get on the throttle. And for us, we love the PDK transmission. So I mean, you're always in the power band, and the car's just so efficient. It just works well. It feels like a massively quicker car than it really is.
Yeah, and we should mention that this dyno is a very conservative one. So I mean, this car on a dyno jet would be making over 400 at the wheel.
Yeah, the 375 pull would probably be about 400. We actually ran the car at the drag strip when we first got it, just to kind of see what it would do, and that 351 power level equated to, I think the car trapped in the 117. So
Wow, that's awesome.
not too bad for a stock
Yeah.
base model. And again, this isn't the S, so this is just the base Carrera.
Yeah.
So.
It makes you wonder why you would even need the real turbo 911 when you can have the baby turbo.
Yeah, and I think that was, there was a concern there. I believe people thinking, Porsche, the turbo was always the iconic supercar, and now we have the entry-level one. But it really is, when they've improved everything about the car, I think it's kind of a moot argument. I mean, if you're, as far as what you're getting for your money,
Yeah.
to me, this is a fantastic package. The sounds are a little bit different. The car has almost like in our opinion, a turbocharged GT3 high compression sound to it.
Yeah.
And I actually think it sounds better
Sounds
than its
phenomenal.
bigger siblings. So, but yeah, not quite the amount of torque. But again, with rear-wheel drive and a reasonable amount of power, this car with a flash would probably make 450 wheel, and the torque would probably be closer to 400, 410. So, at that point, you're in that base, stock twin turbo category.
Yeah.
But paired with rear-wheel drive, it can be a blast.
And how does the car feel to drive at this power level, the balance and all that? Does it feel
It's
happy?
great. Yeah, it's great. I mean, the car even stock was fun, but you can definitely we were playing around with other little exhaust pieces, and the headers were the first thing that the manifolds. When I took the car out and drove it, butt dyno wise, I'm like, man, it feels like it picked up 20.
Yeah.
And everything else, it didn't feel like it did anything. And sure enough, we got on the dyno and it did pick up 20. So its behavior didn't change. I mean, the tone changed a little better. I mean, it's almost like adding an equal length header to the Subaru gave it more of a smoothed out tone. But otherwise, it's kind of nice because you get the best of both worlds with the factory exhaust system.
And in case you're wondering about how well calibrated his butt dyno is, he was a driver in LMS, LMP prototype stuff. So chances are his butt dyno is a lot better than your butt dyno. Bro, I hear you like R8 so much that we got you an R8 for your R8. This one on the top is actually going to get a one-off twin turbo kit, I think Chad said.
Yeah.
Twin turbo R8 V10. How cool will that be? Maybe that's something we come back and show you guys another time. But in the meantime, I've never been here before, and I was blown away by how cool this
It's just the
showroom
best
is they got
spot in the
back
shop.
there. Just the lighting back here and all the cool artwork. And the cars aren't bad either. We've got a track-built Evo 10. We've got a fully restored Ferrari 348. We've got that really cool M6 over there. That's like that's the first M car ever, you were saying?
First M6 ever.
First M6 ever. There's Chad's 930 that we mentioned earlier. There's an Evo 10 there. That's that's an Evo 9 that's for sale there. That's like 9,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
It's like a new car.
Super low mileage.
It's just a bunch of other cars in storage from here. This MR2. Look at the engine bay in this MR2, Peter. Look at this engine bay.
I know. Who drives MR2s? I love it. Like, you never see them.
It's like the most immaculate engine bay you'll ever see. That's apparently going to make 600 at the wheel. Hope you have good life insurance, owner guy. Anyway, that's a wrap here at CBRD. Such a great shop. Really cool to see what he's doing with that new 991.2. Excited to see how that car evolves. And this is close enough to Toronto. I think we'll be back.